I was on Facebook and I followed a couple of history pages, and there was this picture of this actress, and her name was Pearl May Bailey, born March 29th. Man, a lot of March. That Cheryl Swoops was March 25th. Interesting, very interesting. So Pearl May Bailey, and even more interesting. All right, let me just go. March 29th, 1918, she was born. Passed away August 17th, 1990. She was an American actress, singer, and author. After appearing in vaudeville, which I don't know what that is, she made her Broadway debut in St. Louis Woman in 1946. Yo, my mom's a St. Louis woman. She was born in St. Louis. She was a St. Louis girl. She was a Texas woman. I don't know. She received a special Tony Award. Remember the Tonys? Does that not exist anymore? For the title role in an all-black production of Hello, Dolly in 1968, a year before my mom was born. In 1986, 3 years before I was born, she won, I don't know, why I gotta put myself in it, just kind of to put it in context of my life, so it makes it more real. She won a Daytime Emmy Award. I forgot the Emmys. Did the Emmys still exist? For her performance as a fairy godmother in the ABC after-school special. It's crazy. They used to have a lot of after-school specials. Cindy Eller, A Modern Fairy Tale. Her rendition of Takes Two to Tango hit the top 10 in 1952. Interesting. In 1976, she became the first African-American to receive the Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom on October 17th, 1988. November, December, January. 4 months before my birthday. Bailey was born in Newport News, Virginia, to the Reverend Joseph James and Ella Mae Ricks Bailey. She was raised in the Bloodfields, that's a weird name, neighborhood of Newport News, and graduated from Booker T. Washington High School in nearby Norfolk, the first city in the region to offer higher education for black students. Blues singer Ruth Brown was one of her classmates. Oh shit. Maybe our next badass woman in Herstory. Bailey later moved to Philadelphia with her mother and siblings. Bailey made her stage singing debut at the age of 15. Her brother Bill Bailey was beginning his own career as a tap dancer and suggested that she enter an amateur contest at the Pearl Theater in Philadelphia. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Bailey won and was offered $35 a week to perform there for 2 weeks. Man, what a ripoff. However, the theater closed during her engagement and she was not paid. Even more of a ripoff. She later won a similar competition at Harlem's famous Apollo Theater and decided to pursue a career in entertainment. Harlem. Bailey began by singing and dancing in Philadelphia's black nightclubs in the 1930s and soon started performing in other parts of the East Coast. In 1941, during World War II, Bailey toured the country with the USO performing for American troops. God bless this woman. After the tour, she settled in New York. Her solo successes as a nightclub performer were followed by acts with entertainers such as Cab Calloway and Duke Ellington. In 1946, Bailey made her Broadway debut in St. Louis Woman, as we mentioned earlier. For her performance, she won a Donaldson Award as the Best Broadway Newcomer. Bailey continued to tour and record albums along with her stage and screen performances. Early in the television medium, Bailey guest starred on CBS's Faye Emerson's Wonderful Town. Female impersonator Lynn Carter credited Bailey with launching his career. In 1967, Bailey and Cab Calloway headlined an all-black cast version of Hello Dolly. The touring version was so successful that the producer, David Merritt, took it to Broadway. Broadway, where it played to sold-out houses and revitalized the long-running musical. Bailey was given a special Tony Awards for her role, and RCA Victor released a second original cast album, the only recording of the score to have an overture written especially for the recording. Over my head, I don't know what's that meant. A passionate fan of the New York Mets. It's interesting because who was talking about the Mets? It was on the Chrissy Chaos podcast. He had a couple of dudes on there that were like New York radio, and they're talking about how the New York Mets like just always have bad luck. A passionate fan of the New York Mets, Bailey sang the national anthem at Shea Stadium prior to Game 5 of the 1969 World Series, and appears in the World Series highlight film showing her support for the team. She also sang the national anthem prior to Game 1 of the 1981 World Series between the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers at Yankee Stadium. Yo, man, that sounds like a cool. I wonder who won that one, that World Series. Okay, I gotta say this because blues singer Ruth Brown is gonna be probably our next badass woman in Herstory. So Pearl Bailey hosted her own variety series on ABC called The Pearl Bailey Show, and it was from January to May of 1971, which featured many notable deaths, including Lucille Ball, Bing Crosby. That's a weird, that sounds like from an alternate dimension. That sounds like another dimension's Bill Cosby. Like, you ever heard of, y'all got Bill Cosby in this dimension? Like, no, we got Bing Crosby. Anyway, and Louis Armstrong, one of his last appearances before his death. Following her 1971 television series, she provided voices for animations such as Tubby the Tuba, which was in 1976, and Disney's The Fox and the Hound in 1981. She returned to Broadway in 75, playing the lead in an all... Bro, why does it keep saying the same shit sometimes? She was in October 75. She was invited by Betty Ford to sing for Egyptian President Anwar Sadat at a White House state dinner as part of Mideast Peace Initiative. She earned a degree in theology from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. In 85, at age 67, at Georgetown, she was a student of the philosopher Wilfred Desan. Don't know who he is. Later in her career, Bailey was a fixture as a spokesperson in a series of Duncan Hines commercials, singing Bill Bailey, Won't You Come Home. She also appeared in commercials for Jell-O. See, is Bing Crosby another dimensional? Because Jell-O? Was that the Blue Heron again? Westinghouse and Paramount Chicken. In her later years, Bailey wrote several books. The Raw Pearl, which is cool because her first name is Pearl, which came out in 68. Talking to Myself came out in 71. Pearl's Kitchen in 73. Hurry Up America and Spit in 76. In 75, she was appointed Special Ambassador to the United Nations by President Gerald Ford. Her last book, Between You and Me, which came out in my birth year, 1989, details her experiences with higher education. On January 19, 1985, she appeared on a nationally televised broadcast gala the night before the second inauguration of Ronald Reagan. In 1988, Bailey received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Reagan. Bailey went through a number of failed marriages in her adult years. She married John Randolph Pinkett, either her third or fourth husband, when she was 30 years old, and divorced him 4 years later, accusing him of physical abuse. John Randolph Pinkett. I wonder if he's the dad of Jada Pinkett, which would be crazy. I mean, just the implication. Wow. On November 19th, 1950, damn, 1952. I'm just thinking, is that Jada Pinkett's dad? I'm going to have to look that up. On November 1952, Bailey married jazz drummer Louis Bellson in London. They remained married until her death nearly 38 years later in 1990. Bellson was 6 years Bailey's junior and white. Interracial couples were rare at the time, and Belson's father was reportedly opposed to the marriage because of Bailey's race. They later adopted a son, Tony, in the mid-1950s. A daughter, Dee Dee J. Belson, was born April 20th, 1960. Tony Belson died in 2004. Dee Dee Belson died on July 4th, 2009. That synchronized somebody at the age of 49, 5 months after her father, who died on February 14th. Well, these days, these are all important days to me. Interesting. Again, trying to put myself into it. It's not about you right now, Chris. Pearl Bailey, a Republican, and I'm wearing red, was appointed by President Richard Nixon as the nation's ambassador of love. Shout out to Jay-Z and Nas' Black Republican song. In 1970, she attended several meetings of the United Nations and later appeared in a campaign ad for President Gerald Ford in the 1976 election. I wonder if Gerald Ford was also a conservative or Republican. She was awarded the Bronze Medallion in 1968, the highest award conferred upon civilians by New York City. That's a weird... Okay, anyway, but Bailey was a close friend of actress Joan Crawford. In 1969, Crawford and Bailey joined fellow friend Gypsy Rose Lee. It's a capital G, so I wonder if that's her name. Gypsy Rose Lee, in accepting a USO award. That same year, Bailey was recognized as USO's Woman of the Year. Wait, did I just read that twice? Upon Crawford's death in May 1977, Bailey spoke of Crawford as her sister and sang a hymn at her funeral. American socialite Perle Mesta was another of Bailey's close friends. In the waning days of Mesta's life, Bailey visited Mesta frequently and sang hymns for her. I imagine when I'm old and my friends are old and, you know, like if instead of singing hymns for them, I bust little like freestyles for them. Bailey died at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philadelphia on August 17, 1990. An autopsy confirmed the death was caused by the narrowing of the coronary artery. Bailey had suffered from heart problems for over 30 years. Bailey is buried at Rolling Green Memorial Park in West Chester, Pennsylvania. We salute you, Pearl Bailey. Thank you for being a badass American woman of herstory. Man.